I left at the top of my game well early of retirement, well early of everything. But yes, I was very successful. And there's always a team around you that helps with that. But it was a lot of hours, a lot of discipline, and a lot of really just being unstoppable.
When I was a kid, there were albums, and the outtakes from the albums were always better than the albums. And I always wondered, why did they put that stuff in there? I just spent 20 minutes with my guest, and I think they should have been in the show. Carolyn Cole is on our show today. She is the definition of unstoppable. She, after 2 decades as an attorney, she had that epiphany, that feel, that gut purpose feel that she had to do something more. She wanted to do something more, and she was going to follow her dream. Today, she's the CLO, the Chief Life Officer of Boomtank. She's a show host, an entrepreneur, and I really like her personality. Welcome to the show.
I love you. I'm honored to be here. Thank you for having me. Really a pleasure.
Let me ask you this. What was your favorite? What would you like best about the law?
About the law, the people, and just, people don't understand that so much of, and this was courtroom trial practice. That's what I did for nearly 2 decades, right? It is so much lie detection, which is kind of the fun side of it, right? It's people don't understand that trial attorneys are born lie detectors. And we're just, and maybe not born, but you're created if you're in trial all the time, and you just get a great sense of who's telling the truth and who's not. The other thing was just the people and their stories. It's just, there's so much there. When you bring people to litigation, they're very vulnerable. And a lot of the pieces they don't readily show strangers, especially a new attorney or someone on the other side. You get to see humanity and the human psyche at work in all the different forms. The very good, the very scared, the very frightened, the very bad. So it was just that big swing of humanity and that big look at it that was just fascinating to me.
Carolyn, I'm a reductionist at heart, so I'm going to reduce everything to this most common, and at least the element that I understand. Everything we do in business is through, with, and for people.
All relationships.
It's relationships. And hearing the stories from our prospects or clients in business, let them tell their narrative, let them speak, and being able to listen, really listen, not just hear, is all part of what you call, it makes a good trial attorney, but it also makes a great salesperson, and everybody sells.
I love that thought. I love that. That's very good, Bill. That's excellent. Yes, true.
I'm going to go back and see what I said because I never know.
It was excellent.
It's funny. I always tell people when they're looking to do something, I say, copy your thought right now, because there's no person that steps into that same stream of thought twice. Everything's changing. The current, the plankton, the fish, everything's changing. As I digress, but I want to jump back into this. So you were, I assume, and I assume I know correctly, that you were a very successful attorney.
I was. And before I made my corporate exit, I just won a national award with the company. I think it was roughly 100 people within the company of 35,000 employees, and it was a global company. They were celebrated, and I was one of those people. So I left at the top of my game well early of retirement, well early of everything. But yes, I was very successful. And there's always a team around you that helps with that. But it was a lot of hours, a lot of discipline, and a lot of really just being unstoppable, showing up every day. And that mattered. But yeah, I was.
That's going to go. That's going to lead off. I can tell you right now. That was a home run right there. So thank you for segueing the unstoppables in there with discipline and work.
Discipline and work, and we just talked about that in the pre-chat. So I'll let you go wherever you want to go with it. But it shows up, it matters, and it makes a difference.
Well, you have something that's rare: substance. You've actually done things. You have substance. You have a substance. You have a style. And your substance oozes right through. I mean, it's coming through the airwaves. That wouldn't be oozing, but it is coming through the airwaves. You have substance. For 2 decades, there you are, successful. You have credentials to prove it. You have the credibility. What inside of you inspired you to make that jump? It's a jump without a net to become a CLO, a Chief Life Officer, and coach people.
I love this question, and I love that you had the foresight to ask it, because I think you and I had parallel journeys, because I read about you as well, right? And I've looked at your network, and your goal is to help people, right? So that was always my goal too. It still is. I think that most of us at this stage and even earlier stages, we have this I think most people have this inner need to help on the planet. And I wanted to live before I died. That's the short answer to your question. And back in my late 30s, I had a consultancy that I started because I have a master's in organization development from the School of Business at Johns Hopkins. So my goal was to leave litigation because I climbed a lot of mountains, basically all the mountains I thought I was going to climb by that age in litigation, because I was in a courtroom ever since I was in my 20s. And I had big jury trials. I'd done all of that. And I said, I'm going to start my consultancy, and I'm going to travel, and I'm going to do this other thing that I love. And I started doing it, and it took off, and then my health broke. And I had to make the decision, stay where I was employed as a full-time trial attorney still with great benefits and all of that, or risk all of that and maybe be a burden to people if I got sick or something, and then jump and do the other. So I stayed, but I never lost sight of what it was I really wanted to do. And then it's just one of those things where you just get still and you say, I'm going to live before I die. And it is absolutely worth laying it all on the line, which I have and which I did, laying it all on the line to really be alive and contribute to the planet and bring everything I want to bring out before I exit. And that was how I made the choice.
Huge takeaway. That's the 1% though. You're the 1% difference that actually made that choice to live before you die. It reminds me of the line in Braveheart. Every man dies, but not every man truly lives.
It's true. And the other thing out of Braveheart, I love that movie. The other thing out of that is the ending where he says freedom, right? Yeah. It's the ultimate freedom. And if you do your life right, you can have freedom within a corporate structure. Just start changing your thinking about what real success and happiness is. And you can have it outside in entrepreneurship and business. So you can have that dream life. You just have to make it a priority no matter what your setting is. And I knew that I wanted to do other things. That's why I did it. But some people can stay in their position and still accomplish great things that really fill them with life. And you can do both, but you have to make that decision to do it.
Those parallel paths that we took are now getting a little bit closer. Because to me, the ultimate thing in life is freedom. It is freedom. So everything I do, this sounds like an oxymoron, is to work for freedom.
Right. And the paradox of that, and I love this because I think you've alluded to it in your shows, is the more you control about your environment and your thinking and your accomplishments, the more freedom you have.
Yeah, absolute truth. And another thing too, is I always put this, and I want to ask you this question. How do you look at this word? Because this is a great word. Regret. It can be powerful. It can be a disabler. But how do you view regret?
I just did a short video on this. And I think that when you choose, and you know that because you saw it, so thank you.
No.
But
we're watching now.
I love you. You set me up for softball. Woohoo! I get to look good on Bill's show. This is awesome. You know you looked at that video. My
universe coming again.
You just did your homework. You're a great host. That's why. But here's the thing. Living with no regrets is not only a life-changing decision. Living with no regrets is a lifestyle. Choose that lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle.
Not just a powerful decision. It's a lifestyle. Choose the lifestyle. Go live it.
You know, I did research on one of my books, and it was a study done by a nurse named Bronnie Ware. And she found out that at a hospice, at the end of days, that 92% of the respondents regretted those things they didn't do, much more so than the things they did. Mm-hmm. And I always do something I call, Carolyn, play it forward. I look at my life forward and think, what is it I can do now that I won't be able to do at this certain stage and age of my life? Will I have regret because I didn't do it? That answer gets me out of bed. It makes me do what I do. It gets me on airplanes. That is what pulls me and drives me. And I have this great pull to serve people. Earl Nightingale said, everything is found in the service to another. Right on.
True.
Look at their heart, not their wallet.
True.
I wrote something down almost like Maslow's triangle. So I'm going to give you your own little pyramid back to you and let you come through every place. I went from the bottom up where you would coach first, because this is your quote: more freedom, more income, less worries, and lots of cutting edge information to grow you and your business, because to me, they're both one and the same. As you go, so goeth the land, Arthur. There's another movie for you, King Arthur. So let's start with worries.
We like all the same movies. I can't believe this. I mean, Braveheart, King Arthur. I mean, we watch all of this. This is so interesting. Are you a Viking? Do you like Vikings? Anything that's tied to Viking history?
I've got a Swedish woman sitting right here to my left. So
I channeled that in because I love Viking stories. So they definitely had a downside, right? But I like the bright side of the Vikings. So pretty good stuff.
You are dangerous to me because you seem to anticipate my every move, which is very rare because I never know where I'm going anyway.
I was a trial attorney. It's what I'm supposed to do.
Really good though. Less worries. Someone comes to you, and this is the first thing that I always coach my mother on this, but less worries. So how do you talk with people? Now, I understand this whole thing is going to work in a synergistic way, but less worries first. Attack that one.
All right, less worries comes from me, and here's where I've landed with this, because my brand, and that's fascinating. I'd love to talk with you about this sometime. It's just the evolution of a brand and the evolution of a business. So since I've left corporate, I have my business. Now it's evolved. It's the evolution of the brand. It's gotten bigger, deeper, wider, all of that. So it's not just those things now. It's where business success and professional success meet happiness. So for the no regrets piece, the no worries piece, all of that, I really am focused in on where I started when I made my leap, getting back and putting that really in the branding so it's clear. It's not just success. And you have to wed happiness to it. So if you want that life of no regrets, if you want less worries, if you consciously build happiness, and people think that's such a light word, do you know we're supposed to be happy by and large? Every day we wake, and if you're in an area that has birds, what do you hear? You hear them chirping, talking, they're living. We are meant to do things like that. So if you want that no regrets piece, if you want less worries, start building in, and it can be very hard and very challenging when you are worried, when you are stressed. But I start looking at the kind of success that you can build in your business, your career, your life, whatever it is, that will bring you true happiness, not just the success in and of itself, because you and I have seen this. We've known really successful people, and if they have to stop doing that successful thing, whether it's in sports, whether it's in movies, whether it's corporate career, whatever it is, and somehow maybe physically they can't do it any longer, or they had to leave or whatnot, their whole identity was wrapped up in that. So having less worries is having you be in play more in your life on different areas of your life so that you have that happiness to take away those worries. And it sounds very simple, right? And it sounds like it's something you should toss aside. But the reality is we admire truly happy people, don't we? And we thoroughly admire successful and happy people because you and I both believe you can have it all and you deserve to have it all. You have to believe you deserve to have it all, and you can. You just have to take those steps to get to success and happiness and have them meet. So that's kind of my take on it.
That's a great one. The ancient Greeks will tell us that the meaning of life is to pursue happiness, is to pursue happiness and go get it. I mean, that's it. I think that we have to know the difference too between the bounce of joy. It could be a birthday party, it could be a party that gives us a spike, but it's not truly enduring happiness, which to me is a condition. It's just a way. It's a way. It's got its ups and its downs. But overall, what's the bottom line? I'm a very happy person.
I love what you said in the service of others. Nightingale, all the great leaders, and going back to Greco-Roman times, it was always in the service of others, right? Stepping beyond yourself. And it's the great movements throughout time that have brought the greatest joy, the greatest pain. But from that comes the greatest joy of knowing you made your mark on the planet. And I'm telling you, true joy and happiness is making your mark in someone else's life for the better. That's it. It's not that complicated. And to do it on a grand scale, great. But if you're even going to do it on a smaller scale, being in service to others and being a success in that is a huge component of happiness because it gives you that inner peace that is not contingent on your performance every day in a certain function. It's just becomes who you are, and who you are becomes a happier person because you're in there not only helping yourself, but helping others.
Carolyn, I've always said that a true gift, that real giving, sharing, comes without the expectation of a return. You
Correct.
do too. And if you have that mindset, and I found this out in business, that I did so many things for free, not because I wanted to hold some sword of Damocles over someone's head, because it was a way. It was how I was. It's how I was raised. Things happened for me that way. Now, not every time on that particular account, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 6, but it wasn't a Machiavellian way of trying to get something by playing a game. It's just the way it was. And maybe I'm an abundant, driven person, not a scarcity guy, and it just worked.
It works, and the whole concept, Judy Robinette has her book, How to Be a Power Connector, and I had her on my show, and I got to know her very well, and she's just a fabulous person, but it comes down to relationships, and we started the show with relationships, right? It's about relationships, and you stepping forward and wanting to help first, that does get rewarded. Maybe not every time, and maybe on the law of averages, maybe there's a dip there, but it does. When you show up and help other people, I believe the country song out now. I believe the country song that people are naturally good. Most people are good. I believe most people are good. And you're going to have your bad actors, your bad players in there, she says, but by and large, if you show up in service, it's going to benefit you in so many ways that you can't even see. And it's going to create opportunities in your business that you can't even see yet. You can't even comprehend it. And that's a good thing, because you're not limited by your own perspective. You're now in other people's heads and what they envision for you, which could be a lot greater than what you forecast for yourself.
Because you don't see your own blind spots. And if you're limited by your own perspective, you are limited. And fear keeps us safe in our illusions. So we crave our certainties, illusion, and we don't want to open the box of what if, because we don't want the answer. We built our self-esteem on the ego, like you talked about earlier. You referred to this earlier, the external accomplishments. And so when that falls, we fall with it.
Well said, Bill.
Oh, no, we're together on this.
Beautifully said, because we look in the mirror every day, but we never see the full person. And the trick is, when you're going to listen to somebody, listen to someone who's positive about you, not negative. But I love that what you just said. It was a brilliant point. And that's it. We look every day, we deal with ourselves, but we don't always see the fullness of our possibilities and our greatness.
But see, incumbent upon what you said, and this is a very courageous statement, that you're choosing to live. You're to live before you die. Most people look in that mirror, and I'm not going to say most, some, however you want to put the number on, but they're looking with denial and delusion. So they're looking to say, I'll get to it tomorrow. It's not me. I'm doing good enough. I'm doing this stuff. It's really a fear-based holding them back because they don't want to put themselves out there, come up short. They don't want to do the work. We talked about that. So that's a whole lot of the dynamic, which makes it so much fun because it's the nature of humans and human nature, right?
It's just fun talking to you. I could listen to you all day. That's fantastic. No, yes, all that. Yes, great.
No. Speaking of listening, I'm going to follow you. So tell the audience.
I just followed you on Instagram, by the way. So I'm going to follow you all over the place now.
Where can the audience find you? Let's go there first.
I would just say boomtank.com, BOOMTANK.com. At the top in the navigation, you'll find all of my social media. In the right sidebar, please subscribe to my email list. I would love to have you join. I've got great things coming and going. All of my programs are listed there, the different things I coach on and consult on. And I deal with everyone from C-suite executives to entrepreneurs, business owners, and professionals and business executives. All of those people are in my wheelhouse, and I have help for everyone, for your business and for your profession.
You're imbued with substance, but I have to ask you the tough thing. You are in that Viking ship, okay? It's not lit. It's not a funeral pyre.
Oh, I love this. Yes, go ahead. Go. Yes.
I love metaphors. That's how I learn. But you're in a Viking ship, right?
I'm in it every day, by the way. So I need.
It's almost like navigating a sewer because there's so much noise, distraction, and shit out there that pretends to be what you truly are. So how do you get above that noise?
Visibility is the lifeblood of your business. I had a guest on yesterday who said profits is the lifeblood. I totally agree with that too. But also visibility is the lifeblood of your business. If you consistently show up as you're doing now, as I'm doing now, your other guests are doing now, show up and you are heard. You are seen. You are heard. People will see the substance. They will see the integrity. They will see that you're a departure from the norm because the whole goal is to create exceptional, right? They will see that exceptional nature in you. Show up and bring it. And you don't have to kill yourself. Be who you are, but be your exceptional. Play to your greatness. Don't be shy about it. Don't be backward about coming forward. Judge Hubbard, one of my favorite judges, used to say that. Don't. Step forward, and if you need help stepping into your greatness, get it. But step into your greatness. People will see the substance, and you will rise above that crowd who right now isn't tapping it or doesn't choose to bring it. That's the simple thing. Show up and show up strong, show up great, and you'll be fine. You'll do it.
That was beautiful. Do you know people don't show up? They're just holograms.
Especially women. And that's a whole different dynamic, but it's commonplace because, glossophobia is the top fear in the world. And it's been the top fear since fears got measured and they got medals and trophies and awards, right? It's the top one because and that's the fear, that's the phobia of public speaking, being seen, being heard. And below that is the fear of public speaking, being seen and being heard. And 3 out of 4 people suffer from that. So it's very common. So if people out there are saying, that's me, don't feel badly about it, okay? I want you to know, number 1, you're not alone. It's very common, okay? Number 2, and Bill, you can attest to that, you can get help like that to fix it, right? It's something you can really fix. You won't even have to get to glossophobia, the actual phobia of the fear. You can get rid of the fear, and you always had the butterflies. You're a professional speaker, you know this, that you come out strong and you just walk into it. So they can fix it. But for those who think that I don't have to get visible, that's more problematic for you and me, because we know that will kill a business, because you have to get visible in your business. There's so much help out there and so many resources to help you get visible confidently and step into that greatness that makes you different from that lower realm that will take you to the top. And there's so much room at the top, and you and I know that. A lot of people don't know that. There's so much competition down here at the bottom rungs where you're elbowing, but because people don't get visible, they don't show up with their greatness, there's room at the top because people don't set their sights there. You set your sights there, there's room for you. Go for it. You only live this once. Right now, go.
That's
go,
a
go.
boom from the boom tank.
You
want to hear something that I found just astounding when I actually learned it? If I knew this when I was younger, I'd probably have been more successful. But those fears come back. They go way back to our days, and way, way, way back to the days on the savannah. Because to stick out, to be ostracized, meant you were in imminent peril from man or insect. You were in peril, so you couldn't be ostracized. So to be cut from the herd, to stand out, those are socially learned fears. As babies, we have two fears: fear of falling, fear of loud noises. But then we learn these things, teachers, moms, parents, friends, bullies that chase us, and we learn those fears, and we don't want to stand up and be shamed and be less than. So that was what keeps us back. I always thought that my amygdala was in some way stunted because I didn't have that much of a fear, as I had more of a ham. So I just want to go out there and play around. So, but there is a fear. There are those butterflies. It's called uncertainty. And we need to reach up and lean into our power instead of running from it and playing safe and mediocre.
And without apology. All of that was beautifully said. I mean, I'm sitting here. I would clap, but I don't want to interfere with your sound there. But it just, I give you a big round of applause for that. It's so well said. And to do it without apology. You know, it's the kind of thing, if you're going to show up great and helping people, don't apologize for that. If you're going to show up great and be your full self and be a role model for others with your success and happiness meeting, and teach others how to live a great life before they die so they don't have those regrets you spoke of in the study in the nursing home when they're older, without apology. Show up. We're not meant to be small. You know, playing small only makes you small. It will never make the other person bigger. So skip that step altogether. Skip it.
Oh, give me the difference, because I do this all day long. Give me the difference between life and existence.
Life and existence. Life for me is freedom. It's the feeling of being alive. Existence is everything other than that.
So many choose existence, though, because they think it's safe. They don't choose to.
It is safe. But here's the thing, and this is a great quotable for both of us, right? And it's coming from you, is that, you know, if you weigh heavily on the existence spectrum, your chances of regretting your life and having big regrets when you don't want to have them, when you can't turn them around, they increase dramatically and are almost guaranteed. The more that you put skin in the game and you say, I'm going to show up and really live, your regrets quotient goes way down. And what you want to do is you want to make no regrets a lifestyle. You just do. You don't want to abandon and jet everything and just do something where you destroy everything you've built. There's a way to complement and do it, but at least have the idea you have a choice. Most people are asleep on planet Earth. They don't know they have the choice because they're just so programmed by everything. You broke your programming. You broke out of all of your mold. You had an insatiable need to make a difference, and you had a belief you could. Most people don't even know those two things are possible. They're not even awake to that. So I'm hoping through this episode and all your other great episodes that it comes through, because you're a really smart guy and you're telling people you've got a choice out there. Just be cognizant you have a choice. That's the starting place. Nice and easy. Just be aware of it.
Well, you're providing a tremendous array of awareness, and awareness carries with it an obligation to do and act upon that which you've just learned. So there's your wake-up call, audience, right there. Choose the difference. Choose life over existence. And I want to loop back on something very important you mentioned, which is just showing up. Mm-hmm. Show up on time, show up prepared. It's a bonus. But you got to be distinctive, and you got in a good way, and you got to be relevant, and you got about 7 to 10 seconds. You got to come out with something that catches a person's attention. Boom, 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 and then build upon the credibility and substance that you have from there. That's how you expand and build a relationship. And that's what I coach in sales. Come out, be distinctive, but you got to have some relevant. You got to be relevant. You got to be able to be relatable. You got to be relevant, man. You got to bring something.
Be human, right? Just be fully present in who you are. Like right now, we have not met before, and I get a great sense of you because in this moment you are fully present and you're real. If people don't be scared of the truth. I used to say in law for years, the facts are friendly, no matter what they were. In bad facts, I talked about it. My clients are like, you can't say. I said we have to say it, and we're going to embrace it because even on balance, you're still going to do well because the facts are friendly. Always embrace things as they are and change them, embrace them, don't deny them.